Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful Friday night. Got a lot to go over. I'm not going to get into like every single little detail of this drama for those who are expecting that. I'm going to try to get all the critical bits. I'm going to explain who the fuck Ethan Ralph even is for those who are just tuning in. And yeah, just going to go over the Gunt drama in general, and how he made a really, really embarrassing and stupid mistake this week. Um, so who is Ethan Ralph? Well, for those unfamiliar with the one of the largest players in the commentary community, at least in terms of physical mass, Ralph is a 34-year-old redneck from Memphis, Tennessee, who's lived with his ma his entire life, up until this day, even after moving with her to Richmond, Virginia, I believe sometime during his childhood. Not 100% sure about that. Not much is actually known about his early years, though notably, Ralph described his own father as one of the most self-destructive people he's ever met, which no doubt contributed to Ethan's own failure to be anything more than a mess of a man. And where Pa failed, Ma certainly didn't pick up the slack. During his high school and college years, he had spent most of his time feeling sorry for himself over being bullied and picked on due to his massive size from overeating, which inevitably caused him to hit the bottle. Consumed with eating and drinking, he developed a permanent stench around himself, letting his hygiene skills, if he ever had any to begin with, fall by the wayside to the point wherein multiple people have commented on a permanent rotten odor coming from his mouth, once described as smelling like used tampons. After being turned down for his audition for the Blob in Wolverine Origins, only failing to secure the role due to his meager status standing at 5'1", he decided to become an internet talking head, writing articles for the Daily Kos in the reader blog section during the early 2010s before moving on to his own site, which he called The Ralph Retort. He got his first big break in 2014 with Gamergate, wherein he became a prolific writer and launched his live show called The Killstream, streamed it first on YouTube. During this time, Ralph had earned himself a reputation for being very scurrilous with his words and reveled in destroying the reputations of others for fun and profit, describing himself as a muckraker, which to many of you may come off as double entendre in light of recent events. And I'll show that in a second. It was also during this time wherein Ralph would get a reputation as an angry drunk, becoming intoxicated on live streams, complaining about various trolling communities that were making fun of him in social media and image boards. For example, let me get that first clip up right away for a little blast from the past. You would just be so kind to give me one moment. And let's see. Here we go. This is what Ralph used to look like back when he was around 20 years old, as you can see from the picture here. And this is Ralph.
There is no using a movement. Motherfuckers work for their output. What do you mean using the movement? Did he use the movement? Did he just say, I used the movement, and this work just divines out of thin air, and he didn't have to put no fucking work in? No, motherfucker, just cause you're not smart enough to make no fucking money don't mean shit, motherfucker! Fuck you, motherfucker! Go talk about Auschwitz, you piece of shit! You motherfucking Jew-hating piece of shit! Get the fuck off this stream! Get the fuck off this stream! Go suck fucking IA's dick, you piece of shit! Yeah, go suck IA's dick some more. Man, this ain't IA, motherfucker. Now fuck you, bitch! You think I give a fuck? You think I give a fuck? I'm just saying, man, I'm sick of this don't make no money bullshit. Now fuck that. There is no, I mean, if you put in work, you put in work. I mean, it's not just like, oh, it's a movement, and so you're supposed to just do it all for free. Did you think Martin Luther King actually worked for free, you stupid?
Yep, that is Ralph, yelling and hollering into the mic as loud as possible, which explains why that was so loud. I probably should have lowered it before playing it. But nonetheless, yeah, his egotistical drunk behavior dates way back, all the way back to 2015. This isn't just a new thing that Ralph has suddenly come onto. Yeah, don't worry. It's just the one clip that's particularly loud. I forgot about that. Don't worry about it. The rest of the clip should be fairly at fair volume. Don't worry about it for the future. But anyway, going to the long, convoluted history of Ralph, which don't worry, this is not going to go on forever of like covering every single controversy Ralph has been in. There is no way a human being can possibly cover all that. Let me just take a moment to like zoom in so you can appreciate this rare Gunt photo. There we go. Like e-celebs such as Carl Benjamin, Mike Cernovich, and others, Gamergate was easy to transition into this 2016 election, wherein Ralph, formerly a liberal, became a big-time Trump supporter. That year, after passing out drunk in a public lobby, he had a run with the police in which he assaulted an officer and ended up sentenced with a felony charge. He would have only had to face probation if it were not for him failing a breathalyzer test a few months after he was sentenced. After spending a good amount of time in jail, he returned to the scene in 2018 during the internet blood sports era, relaunching his brand with co-hosts Gator and Zidane. For the first few months, Ralph put his best effort to come up as a humble man, a changed man, softening his language and his attacks quite a bit. But once beating out the competition of the other IBS shows, mainly due to them self-destructing, he quickly went back to his old ways with an ego as big as ever before. This unwarranted sense of pride would ultimately be his undoing, however, for after a string of successes, Ralph decided the best way to advance his career was to use the topic of Holocaust denial, which would be an appropriate topic for a charity stream for St. Jude's, while drinking himself into a drunk stupor live on air, a state of being that would become all too common on the kill stream. After this was covered by the Wall Street Journal, St. Jude ended up refunding the donations, not wanting to face a PR nightmare over seemingly accepting money from Nazis, and Ralph's channels on YouTube, all of them, were shut down. What could have been a warning sign for Ralph to not get too big for his britches was lost as his yes men kept telling him everything was okay. Those yes men, by the way, for those who don't know, being referred to as the quote-unquote Gunt Guard, which I still see quite a number of people doing, despite, some really shitty things that Ralph has done, and one in particular, which is don't worry, I'm leading up to that. By 2019, Ralph's school day trauma of yesteryears returned to him. Although he was previously exposed by Anons on the image board known as Cow as being into cuckold porn featuring hung black men, what really got him to go ballistic was jabs at his rotund size, earning the name of the Gunt for his unkempt appearance in this photo here. And I will show that on screen as well. Give me a second. Yeah, let's look at that.
There is no using a movement.
Not that. Hold on, give me a second. There we go. Yep, see here? Here's Ralph, 10 years older, next to Dick Masterson and Coach Red Pill. But zoom out a little bit, scroll down. Oof, that's quite the embarrassment right there. If only he wore a slightly larger shirt to hide that. Man, a lot of the memes could have been prevented and avoided. All he had to do. But that's not what happened. No, not at all. Although Ralph could choose to ignore the trolls at any time, or even take this opportunity to actually do what he had threatened repeatedly do over the years, and finally give up drinking and overeating, he instead went back to hitting the bottle and overdosed on prescription medication, resulting in an arc known as the Pill Stream, in which he made a great fool of himself, most notable when he got into a heat exchange on another show's channel. Which, I think all of you in the chat have heard this one already, but I'm going to play it again for all time's sake. So, let me pull that up. And if it's too loud, let me know.
Lying, cock-sucking faggot, motherfucker! You wanna holler over me every fucking second? Or did you scream over you too? You piece of shit, motherfucker! Keep fucking running your mouth! I'll just keep hollering! You motherfucking piece of shit! Eat a fucking cock! Go kill yourself! You fucking piece of motherfucking shit! I fucking goddamn! Oh, we can just holler over each other all fucking day!
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Fuck you, motherfucker! I ain't leaving, bitch! You leave! What the fuck am I gotta leave for?
Because I can be on YouTube still.
Oh,
bitch.
wow! With your little 30 people on YouTube. Oh, my God, please.
I got more subs than you right now.
Okay.
And that's brilliant. Ralph's brilliant diplomacy there to handle a little online dispute that could have just been easily rectified by, a few simple explanations. Although not really, because the evidence really shows that Ralph was guilty in that case, but whatever. Ever since then, Ralph never quite recovered. Zidane left, choosing to live an honest wage as a truck driver over the daily embarrassment Ralph kept getting himself into. Gator, loyal Gator, stayed by his side forever, enabling his behavior. While he sobered up just enough to get by, he still allowed himself to get drunk, and have his ego at the mercy of trolls and detractors. And of course, like any proper lolcow, he keeps handing his detractors baseball bats to them by overexposing his personal life. Which, now we're going to get into the meat of the stream. The stuff that you guys have been waiting for. The Gunt and his 18-year-old girlfriend. Let me pull that clip up real quick. Okay, bear with me one more moment and I'll play that.
It looks great.
I mean,
you sound incredible. You sound incredible.
I have a
You
hot
sound incredible.
18-year-old babe anyway, so I don't need to worry about the weight or anything like that. You know, Oh, whoa! Revealed a little too much here on the kill stream. Had to pour another drink. Anyway.
Oh, you better check that
That's
ID.
the
They're
last
gonna
thing
Cody
you need to
Wilson
know.
you. You're going straight back to the
no.
penitentiary.
No. No, sir. Check that ID very stringently. Anyway. Beardson, sir, thank you.
Yes, because of course, if it's legal, that makes it okay, right? Because Ralph is almost 35, dating... Wait a minute. He's dating a girl that's decades younger than him. Ralph, what the fuck? And you're not going to like where this leads up to. If you are skeptical that barely legal adult, the 18-year-old, the barely legal adult being Faith, can be in a relationship with a man nearly twice her age, you should be. Especially if you are a parent or have young women or girls in your family that you care about. Many of you libertarians in the audience might be of the opinion that it doesn't affect you. Like, there seems to be a lot of people coming out in favor of pedophilia these days. It's really fucking bizarre. And think that hitting on women decades younger than yourself makes you a Chad. But frankly, I think that if you can only go after vulnerable individuals to get laid, that makes you fucking pathetic. Like, really, stick to your age group. Like, there's nothing wrong with going after their girl that's, a little bit older than 18. Like, maybe, let's just say around her mid-20s to start with. Or, if we're going to be bold here, maybe even if you're in your early 30s, you go out with a girl in your early 30s. Just saying. And no, this is not an exception to the rule either, by the way. And as proof of that, I want you guys to be aware of how disturbed Faith is, because she's not this mentally stable individual. I see some nuclear takes going about, from Mundane Matt, who, by the way, he did have some good roasts and burns against Ralph. I'll give the devil credit where it's due. But ultimately, the only reason why Matt gives a shit about any of this is because Ralph burned him. So he's going to be equally petty back to him. And to me, that doesn't quite jive with me all that well. Let me play you those clips real quick, and let me set this up. Okay, we'll turn this on. And we'll move that to the front. Okay, let's go ahead. Open the correct file. Now, keep in mind, this is Faith, Ralph's 18-year-old girlfriend. Ralph is 35. Keep that in mind.
So I was officially diagnosed with depression when I was 13, which means I've been dealing with it for 5 years. I started having symptoms when I was 11, 12, but I'm not going to say I had it then because I wasn't diagnosed then and I'm not a professional, so I don't know, but I definitely was having symptoms, and it became a concern, especially when I was 13, when I was 14. Between those two ages, it got really bad. I started self-harming. I started slacking off on my schoolwork because I figured, what's the point? It got really, really bad when I was that age, and I've been trying to make sure that I don't make those same mistakes, especially the schoolwork thing. It can still get hard. Sometimes I still do get behind because there will be days where I literally can't even leave my bed, where I don't do anything but lay down, curl up, and maybe get up for maybe a soda or a drink or a food.
Now, does this come across as a type of individual that seems like she is appropriate to be engaged in a relationship with a man twice her age? Again, this is from March of this year. She's admitted to harming herself, including cutting herself, having all kinds of depression issues like can't getting up in the morning, etc. And in addition to that, let's play this next clip. Here we go.
And there are times where I want it to stop. Where I want to stop being here. You know, whether that's a disappearing feeling or a full out just wanting to end everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I haven't had a suicidal thought in a while. But they've been a big part in what's held me back. Because I felt like every time I got suicidal, I worried everybody more than I felt like I needed to worry them. And there are times where I just want it to end. Where I just want all the pain to stop. And all the hurt, everything I've gone through, everything I've survived through, I want it to stop. And I feel like talking about it, feeling like going to somebody makes me a victim. And I hate feeling like a victim. I hate feeling like I went through something and now people have to pity me for it. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to be a survivor, not a victim.
I was raised to be a survivor, not a victim. She's admits to being suicidal, to wanting to throw everything away. This woman is not ready to get into a relationship. She is not mentally prepared. She doesn't have the wisdom of life or the experience thereof to be in this kind of relationship. It is highly inappropriate. And for those who want the receipts on Ralph and them e-dating, give me a quick second while I fetch those up. Okay, this is Ralph getting in contact with Faith. Right here. So as early as February 12th, 2020, this is like the earliest evidence I have that Ralph got into contact with her. He was going ahead and picking her up. Yeah. Zoom in a little bit. Just randomly telling her about the excellent taste in programming and like complimenting her on the cookie she was baking. Unfortunately, that tweet wasn't available. I think this one's also archived, but I think you can pick up the context here, what's going on based on that. And just a little bit later, same month. Let me pull that up. This is her outright flirting with Ralph. And Ralph isn't like telling her to go away or anything like that. No, this is confirmed. So yeah, no, there's no dispute about it. They were eating at this point, and there's even more evidence pointing out that they were a lot more involved, including a little hookup in LA, I believe, when Ralph went to go ahead and visit his good buddy and friend, Dick Masterson. And by the way, don't forget that Dick Masterson is also the same guy that goes ahead and gives Ralph champagne bottles. Yeah, Ralph the alcoholic, his good friend, loyal Dick, giving him champagne bottles. That is so messed up. I'm going to get into that a little bit more, but let me show a few. Let me go ahead and show a few more stuff that's relevant to this. And yeah, so if any of you are getting a little bit of familiarity to this, like if this sounds familiar about an e-celeb picking up and contacting an 18-year-old girl, someone who's barely legal, someone who's barely an adult, and can hardly be considered to be able to take care of herself in any respect, being picked up by a powerful e-celeb that she looks up to and admires and has mental disorders. Why does this ring a bell? Does this sound like a certain Quebecanese? Yeah, that does sound familiar. Hef, I'll pull that up I'll pull that up towards the end of the stream. I want to cover the Gunt stuff first because that's also concerning a little bit. And for those who don't know who I'm talking about with that certain Quebecanese, I'm talking about JF Garepi, that faggot, that guy who's a rapist who went ahead and picked up this mentally incompetent 19-year-old woman and had a relationship with her, had her drive halfway across the country to meet with him, and he tried to make a baby with her. Like, this is the same level we're talking about. Like, I don't really see much of a difference here. And yeah, they did met. We all know they met because we've seen the tape. Or many of us have. I'm not sure how many of you want to subjugate yourself to seeing the Gunt in all his intimate glory. Which, thankfully, I won't be playing that on stream because, one, YouTube won't allow it, and two, I don't want to subject any of y'all to that. And of course, and how does Faith exactly take the relationship? I want to pull up one more clip to be played. All right, this will take just a moment. Because I have this file as well. Because I don't really see people really focusing on this a lot, as much as they should.
Because you make
That's gonna be a meme forever. I got a dick on my forehead.
My
Again,
forehead.
the man I'm gonna marry, everybody, has a dick on his forehead, and I still love him. That's
That is-
because
I did
that
a
is
funny
gold.
video.
That is gold.
Okay, sorry, this is not the clip I thought it was. I thought it was her saying she loves Dick. Sorry, not Dick. Ralph. This is her proclaiming her love to another player that's relevant to this, the boyfriend of her. I'm not going to get too much into the boyfriend. He's more of a tertiary player in the grand scheme of things. But apparently she and him were having a sexting relationship on the side while she was with Ralph. And yeah, that's because, let me just get into like the meat of the story about how Ralph dropped the sex tape on for the whole world to see. Her and him getting intimate. And I'm going to read an article that sums it up and describes it very distinctly. And I'm not going to mention, for reasons that should be obvious and apparent, I'm not going to give this website any kind of attention or traction or clout. But I do have to give credit to the Devil Words Do once again. This is a well-written article. It was very humorous. I laughed at it. And I'm going to go ahead and read it out to you. Give me a quick second. We'll leave that image up as I read it. Radio host Ethan Ralph releases sex tape to mixed reviews. On Tuesday, Joe Biden's announcement that he'd chosen Kamala Harris as his running mate was unfortunately overshadowed by news that internet radio host Ethan Ralph had released a sex tape. The tape, featuring the Ralph Retort host and his 18-year-old girlfriend Faith, was panned in many sectors while being celebrated in others. This scandalous bit of footage, which was posted to the website Kiwi Farms, initially appeared on Instagram. While recording a show on air, Ralph sent the video to the ex-boyfriend of the woman featured in the segment. It is unclear if Ralph meant for the tape to become public because he thought it was funny, or if he'd expected that the unidentified ex-boyfriend would keep it to himself. Posting it to Twitter when the bombshell hit, Ralph claimed that he did not leak it, and added unrealistically that this would be his final comment on the matter. While the mystery of the origins of the video will likely continue, even though there is no actual mystery, what isn't mysterious is that the response to the video, which has been heavily mixed. The sniff heard around the world. One of the most controversial aspects of the sex tape is that it features a part where Ralph, the muckraker, apparently sticks his thumb into the woman's butthole and sniffs it. This feature in the film caused many viewers to abort their attempts to masturbate to the tape. I was into it and really jiving and vibing until the part where he sticks his finger in her butthole and sniffs it, said a prominent porn addict on Twitter. Others said that they could have done without the sniff heard around the world, but many thought it was not a big deal. I was surprised that people were surprised by the butt sniffing, said one internet masturbator. I've never had sex myself, but if I ever do, you can bet I'll be sniffing that ass. The best fap of my life. While some complained about the butt sniffing and fatness, others on the internet enjoyed the sex tape. The first time I watched it, I came hard, said Milton Ratbone, a masturbator and fan of the Ralph Retort. It's not an exaggeration to say that this was the best fap of my life. There's just something really fun about it, watching your favorite radio host get down and dirty. Fap is internet slang for masturbation. Commentators on Ralph's D Live channel also gave the video a mixed reception. Unfortunately, Ralph skipped his show on Tuesday night when many were hoping to hear his take on the sex tape and to respond to the various reviews it has received. A history of controversy. Ralph is no stranger to controversy, having gone to jail for a year in 2016 for punching a cop in Virginia. The Ralph Retort is a prominent internet drama show, and Ralph regularly involves himself in the drama. He hosts people with various beefs with one another, but does not keep his own beefs a secret. While many people are saying that the sex tape will destroy Ralph's career, a crisis management professional and image consultant said that he does not see any way that the sex tape could do anything other than help him in his endeavors. Ralph has made a career off of drama, and all the sex tape does is add to the drama. I don't even understand what these people saying that it will hurt him are even talking about. But I suspect they are not particularly familiar with Ralph or his show, the image consultant said. No element of this does anything other than boost his viewership and solidify his position as an infamous internet personality. However, the image consultant warned that there is one way the sex tape could end up hurting him. If he takes it too seriously and lets the people making fun of him get to him, then he could slip up and lose control of his life and of his show. He should probably bring on Dick Masterson to help him joke about this instead of attempt to play it off like nothing happened. The image consultant added that he predicted that Ralph would spin out of control in a drunken mania over a year ago when Ralph became involved with Alcoholics Anonymous. He warned Ralph at the time that the AA program always leads to a drunken insanity. Ralph was having some problems. He was drinking too much. This was back in 2018. So instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to drink less, he joined AA. And I knew that would lead to disaster, the image consultant said. I was on his show shortly after he started AA, and I told him, this is going to come back on you. You're going to end up a drunken mess. But he didn't want to listen. So he did the AA thing, and then failed like everyone does. Now he's a drunken disaster posting sex tapes. Of course, there's nothing wrong with being a drunken disaster if you are an internet personality. It's just whatever. He just needs to keep on riding until the wheels come off. A hilarious sex tape getting posted does not amount to the wheels coming off. And there's also a bit in here about like Warski, but it doesn't seem all that relevant, but I will have my own comments about Warski in just a second. But the only parts of this article I disagree with is AA not working. There are people that do go through AA, despite its low success rate, who do come out on top. That's all I'll have to say about that. However, the parts where he's saying that this won't hurt Ralph's image, I hate to say it, I hate to break it to people, but unfortunately he's right. Unfortunately, Ralph, the only way the Gunt's going to get his comeuppance from this, I think, don't get me wrong, his credibility has taken another critical blow. A lot of people have turned on him. A lot of people have said, nope, I'm out after this. After Ralph went ahead, groomed an 18-year-old. That is if she was 18, by the way, because she could have been younger for all we know, since we don't really know when the relationship started. I'll just throw that out there. But the reality is him grooming a mentally unstable 18-year-old girl who's barely legally an adult, and then going ahead without her consent, releasing her intimate private parts all over onto the internet for everyone to see and mock and make fun of forever, for the rest of her adult life, when she has just become an adult, is going to hurt him. But will this end the Ralph Retort? Will this end the Gunt? No, it won't. I see a lot of people like trying to do the dance on his grave routine and like being like just as petty and vindictive as Ralph. And among those names would include Josh, Monday Matt, Jeff Holiday, and others that are going about and doing this. And least of all, I have to mention Kraut as well. Yeah, you guys remember Kraut? Yeah. Someone asked me a couple of nights ago if I thought that Ralph was worthy of a redemption arc. I kind of like was 50-50 on the question because, truth be told, Kraut has been making some decent videos. But as far as I'm concerned, is he worthy of a redemption arc? No. His content does not change his character. His character is always the same slimy, scummy character. And here's why. Kraut made a big deal that, the gay ops I was doing was all okay, and the doxing I was doing was all okay, everything's fine, it's a nothing burger, I was just going after some Nazis and stuff like that, I'm not really doing any doxing, I'm not doing this, he's denying all that. But what is he doing now? He's spending his days on kiwi farms looking up what the latest shit is on Ralph to make himself feel better about himself by comparison. Kraut is still a loser. Kraut has no kids. He has as equally bad and pathetic relationships as Ralph does, except maybe with the saving grace that they're all within the relative age range. I'll give him that. But besides that, his only career opportunities is doing freaking YouTube for the rest of his life and getting some shekels from that, and that's it. That's where Kraut is at the end of the day. And he's just as petty, vindictive, and spiteful, despite all the image crafting and PR bolstering he's doing. And I don't get why people want any of his hot takes on any of this, because he doesn't care that Ralph pretty much raped an 18-year-old girl. Because that's what the reality is, people. They're just taking a look at the situation and just using it to meme Ralph, when there's a real serious issue here of this guy being a predator and a threat to women online, and people are just kind of yucking it up. Now, on the flip side of this, it's not just the people who are petty, vindictive assholes who just want to fuck with Ralph because fuck him. And because, truth be told, they're in better standing than the next group I'm going to mention, because at least they're giving Ralph shit. They're giving him a hard time. So it could be said that while their intentions aren't pure, the consequences of their actions do fuck with Ralph's head. The other side of this are the enablers, and I classify them as worse for two reasons. One, because they're perfectly cool and okay with Ralph exploiting such a young woman. And secondly, because they're driving Ralph to commit suicide. Put it this way. Gator did a stream that I was going to go over the whole thing and trash and shit like that, but it's not worth the time, and it's not worth your time, because Gator lies all the time. And as an example of that, let me show his initial reaction to all this shit in just a moment. Also, I see someone has given me some DMs about some stuff. I'll go over those in a second, but I just want to give you guys Gator's mindset in all of this, where Gator stands, because I think Gator is possibly the worst person out of all these people, because he will take the concept of loyalty, which he has no fucking loyalty whatsoever. We all know he backstabbed Andy. We all know that he went that during that pill stream arc I mentioned, he went to Josh and spread a bunch of shit about Ralph to him. We all know that. He's just doing this because he wants attention. Gator doesn't even make fucking money off of this. I can at least respect the hustle when the hustle is there. But Gator doesn't get paid. This is his reaction. First, he posts this laugh my ass off, and he posts this meme, which I'm not sure what this meme means, but it's like some kind of smiling face, like the smugness of the situation, Ralph just dropped the sex tape. And that was posted at around the time that was posted. And then someone responds with, no joke, that was the most ruthless thing I've ever seen. Dude went from being real sure of himself into in denial, referring to the ex-boyfriend, to deleting the stream in the span of 5 minutes. Side comment here, but can we get Worski to review this? LOL. Yeah, J Venom. I don't know who you are, but you're a real mark of a human being there. And Gator's reaction is not, oh, Ralph fucked up like he said on the stream, but the absolute mad lad. This was his initial reaction. In fact, let's just go over to Gator's timeline real quick. Look over how that changed. Let's see. Scroll down a bit, because it changed rather quickly. And the reason it changed is because Gator is a PR man. And that's all he ever will be. He will always be there to enable Ralph to, instead of getting his life in order by putting down the bottle, losing weight, and quitting the stupid career he's chosen that he's clearly not qualified for. People want to go ahead and make fun of this or that personality who does streams or who does content or whatever and make fun of them. For example, people want to make fun of me because I cried on a recording years ago. That's fine. I can live with that. That was an incident that happened. I can acknowledge that. But the thing is, when it comes to people someone like Ralph is at a point where comparing him to Christian is actually appropriate. It is at that level, except also he's a predator on top of that. So this is not good. This is not a good position for Ralph to be in. Instead, let's see. Okay, I don't know where the tweet is, but I really don't give a shit for most of what Gator has to say, except in this regard. Gator is going to be the one who drives Ralph to take a gun, put a bullet in his head, and that blood will be on Gator's hands. And the same hands as Warski's, the same hands as Dick Masterson's, and anyone else who's gunt guarding at this point. Because this guy needs help. Professional mental help at this point. So if these guys really cared about Ralph, they would do everything in their power to make him stop. That is what true loyalty means. Loyalty is not giving your friend the keys to a car after he gets drunk. Loyalty is telling your friend, no, I'm not going to spend time with you anymore because you become a shit human being and you need to go ahead and fix yourself up before I'm going to go ahead and enable this behavior. Fix your life together. I will stand by you, but you got to fix your life together if you want my help. That is true loyalty. And if a friend says that to you, don't attack him, don't shit on him for that necessarily. Because chances are he's probably doing that for he's not doing that out of a place of malice. He's doing it for your own good. And that's the truth of the matter. And that's why guys like Dick Masterson, Gator, and I heard rumors in the wind. I don't want to make the focus on any of on Nick, but I have heard Nick have some wild hot takes on this. I'm not going to comment on the legal shit, but when it comes to Ralph's behavior, Nick, if you happen to be listening to this or someone sends you a clip of this or something like that, I have to ask you, imagine if one of your daughters grows up, meets one of these online sketchy or internet personalities who's in his 30s, goes ahead and contacts them online, promises all these kinds of wishes, and they fall in love with them, and they move ahead out to them, and they go ahead, they fuck with them, and they release pornography on them on the internet. Is this just going to be something you go, oh, well, it doesn't affect me, guys? Which is basically the message that he said. And yeah, he said that he would that Ralph's life might be end if it was his daughter, but I don't believe that for a second. The reason being that he's not taking this as seriously as he should. And I'm not saying that Nick Rekieta has to disavow Ralph. That's not my point. My point is you have to go as hard as possible on this guy because he's a predator and a threat. And it's true that this probably won't go to court. The girl's probably not going to get press charges because she's an idiot. That's it. But in reality, there should be an investigation into Ralph's antics. This warrants and deserves public attention. You could easily use your public platform to go ahead and give this piece of shit the attention it deserves and take it as seriously as it does. You can easily do that. You know you can, but you don't because you still want to network with Ralph because you know that people in Ralph's circles are still supporting him. And that's the truth of the matter. Okay. All right. I think I've gotten all that out. Just want to look at something real quick. Oh, okay. I see what this is. Yeah, so long as it got all of your attention, there's also something else that's come my way that I've noticed. Let me put this up here. It's a little bit off topic, but it's related. Dick Masterson has a very hot take for us in the midst of all this. We got PPP here saying, if Dick Masterson, that's his Twitter account right here. If Dick Masterson really thinks that pedophiles getting the death penalty is hate speech, I don't think he has any credibility in anything, and he himself should probably be hung from the neck until death. Okay, that is actually a rather base comment. And then Dick Masterson says, "What? I don't believe in hate speech, you dingus. Explain what you meant by this." And then he shows his hypocrisy here. So as a father, you'd like lollies to express their fetishes less, so they're harder to avoid. I like them lined up. That's dumb. You understand that hate speech is a thing, right? And then he responds with, quote-unquote hate speech is the punishment of thought crime, which this person is advocating for, without realizing that racism in jokes would be first on that hate speech chopping block, not lolicons. So molesting children is thought crime. I thank Jesus every day there is a hell for people like you to be tormented for all eternity. LOL, no. Looking at drawings is a thought crime. You really think these pedophiles who masturbate to children, who won't ever molest children, do you jerk off to children? Is it cool? Is it acceptable? Tell us about how you love children, you sick fuck. I don't think jerking off to drawings means you're a pedophile, no. Let me ask you this. If you had to look at one or the other, which would you choose? Lolicon or real child porn, and why? Okay. All right. I want to go through one stream where we don't find out that an e-celeb that we've been talking about, making memes and jokes and making fun of and hitting against, is really a pedophile. Like Ralph, Joshua Moon, Dick Masterson. Like, who's next on this list? Is Toad McKinley going to have like a stash of child porn heading up in his closet or something? Like, that wouldn't surprise me at this point. And I know that like the term I know that people are called pedophiles left and right out of pocket all the time. But why is Dick Masterson taking up for the lolicons? And he could make the case. He could indeed make the case that lolicon isn't as bad as footage of children getting fucked. He could make that case, but that's not his argument here. He's like, oh yeah, we should just let people embrace their pedophilic urges through this kind of content for some inane reason. This is a leftist stance here. This is just the same thing that enables more and more degeneracy to flourish. And PPP adds, wish you prefer to get your fix for little children, lolly or child porn, you degenerate scum. LOL, I don't think anyone does this better than you. I mean, is he just going to meme it now? What? Expose you as grifting, soulless vampire who wishes to feed on the souls of children by taking their innocence in a sexual fashion and laugh about with the rest of your LA whack pack of sickos? Yeah, sure I'm good at that. At least you're good at getting me to hate you. All right, I got a few more things here. Let me see about this. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on a minute. There's a little bit of context missing from that screenshot. Doug 10 Nepal chips in with his 2 cents. Okay, so Dick Masterson says, yeah, on my show, let's do this cage match August 23rd. Who has the word of God? And then he DMs tweets out a bunch of people. I'm in, and you can douse the competitor's altars with water before the flames come down to consume the sacrifice. Okay, I'm missing some context here. Let me see. Holy shit. But would you let Digibro babysit your kids, Nick Ricada? And he has this image here. This looks like a Facebook post where he says Lolly is disgusting and degenerate. And then this is followed by his answer to this is not that. This here. I would only let Digibro babysit my kids if he was taxidermied. Huh. Interesting. Actually, let me see if I can find the tweet that started all this, because that's a very interesting one. Yeah, because give me a moment. Yeah, I gotta give Nick credit here. He's not letting this kind of perversion, this degeneracy flourish. Like, here's the thing. One could argue that in certain contexts or whatever, like someone who looks at lolicon once isn't a degenerate. But if the people are like embracing this kind of shit, like as a fetish of theirs or some sort of sick perversion where they're actually looking at this shit, yeah, no, don't trust them. Don't trust them at all. They're definitely pedophiles. So yeah. I just wish I had that clip. I just wish I had that one tweet that started this whole thing. I didn't actually prepare for this part. But yeah, I gotta say that this doesn't really all that surprise me from Dick Masterson, because you would not be surprised how many times these libertarians come out and think that and try to blur the lines between children and adults for this weird child sex shit. As we've seen with Ralph, who again is I put in the same category as JF at this point. No, I think Doug actually is a pretty good guy, for the most part. I haven't really seen him get himself into any kind of shit or hot water. I will say I will never ever buy a gold-lined Earthworm Jim book. I think that's retarded. And I think that people are paying... I think that the Indiegogo game with the comic books is a bad business model. I think that people should look for more traditional publishing. But I haven't seen him like blatantly rip anyone off or come out with some sort of lies or try to take up for someone who didn't deserve it. And when he's disagreed with Nick, he's come out and said that Nick's wrong on this or that issue, as we saw. So anyway, I think that does wrap things up. Let me just look at the chat here real quick, see if there's any more comments. If you have any questions for me, or if you have any intel you want to send my way. Okay, hang on. One last thing. Okay, I did get the full context here. Okay. So this is how this whole thing started, the shit show that's involving apparently Dick Masterson, Nick Rekieta, and Doug Ten Nepal, with each of them, like, with Doug and Nick seeming to come down on Digibro, who once said that lolicon shit and, like, watching hentai of children being fucked is perfectly normal, perfectly okay. He's gonna take up and stand for that. That's Digibro's stance, and Dick Masterson is taking up for Digibro. And then Hef says, question for Dick Masterson. Why in the fuck would you go out of your way to befriend this person after a statement like this, referring to Digibro's statement? Suspect as fuck. Because I am a sophisticated gentleman who realizes that pornography is fantasy and often a way for people to cope with childhood trauma. Unless you are suggesting that women who have rape fantasies support sexual assault. Are you suggesting that? Karen? What the? And Hef responds with, equating a woman having grape fantasies to grown adults fantasizing about fucking kids is disingenuous at best. In that scenario, the woman would be the quote-unquote victim, and the fantasizer would be a child predator. Are you okay with people fantasizing about diddling kids? I don't care what people fantasize about, Karen. So just to be 100% clear on this, you are completely fine with your friends jacking it to the idea of kids being fucked. You are thinking about it now, aren't you? Why are you okay with it? That doesn't answer my question. Feeble attempt at deflection. You are imagining guys beating off to child porn. Why would you do that? I'm not imagining it when your friend is actually doing it. The only thing I am trying to imagine is why you would be okay with that. Why are you afraid to answer my question? Man, stop bringing your weird fantasies of guys jacking off to CP to my timeline. I don't want to hear about your weird fantasies. I'm just asking for a direct response to a straightforward question, and you don't seem comfortable providing an answer. I wonder why. Now, could you so kindly answer my question? Silence is fucking deafening. Indeed it is. I'm gonna get that clip for you in a moment. Let me see if it comes up. Hopefully it will.
However, I will say this, Digibro. I don't know if this is accurate because I don't know the terminology of like anime shit, but you are self-professed, what is it, lolicon fan?
Yes.
Does that mean that, what does that mean?
It means that I am a huge fan of illustrations of little girls getting fucked.
Oh. Now, oh, see, that makes it, you see what you, when you do that,
Yeah.
it makes it very uncomfortable.
Of course it does. But, like, I have to fight for that shit harder than anybody because I like that shit. And if I'm not doing anything wrong and I'm looking at the shit, that means I gotta be on the front fucking line.
So I happen to know a little bit about Digibro. The little I know about him is this. Apparently, he used to be a big in the Brony community, and then that didn't work out for him, so he moved to the Weeb community. But more importantly than that, despite being a married man in his 30s, he's apparently having a midlife crisis where he thinks he's a woman. That's right, he's wearing dresses, putting on makeup, that sort of shit. Now, in light of the clip I just played, does this surprise anyone listening to this stream right now? I'm just asking. I'm just pointing out a pattern here. Just asking. All right. Again, let me try to read some of these comments from chat, and then I'm going to close things out. Dick is worse than Ralph. Arguably, Dick definitely has been enabling the behavior that Ralph is engaging in. He's been sending him alcohol. He's now taking it for this Digibro faggot. He's also been a lying snake. He also tried to do the personal army shit that Null did. He seems to still be cool and buddy-buddy with Null. Again, Joshua Moon, who, as we covered on the last stream, is also a pedophile. Yeah, there's a good argument for it. Digi probably feeds Dax drugs. This would not surprise me either. Everyone cry more for Digibro, boo-hoo. I won't be crying for him. I think that he needs mental help. Dagleth says, isn't his girlfriend pretending to be a man as well? That wouldn't surprise me. Again, I'm so used to this shit that's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a thing that happened. I mean, another curious thing, like on that topic, so long as we're like talking about this, the dark side of the internet. Does anyone remember a co-host that Ralph had called Judgy Bitch? Not many of you might be familiar with that because she was around the 2015, 2016 era. But Judgy Bitch once wrote an article, and I shit you not, I wish I had that link available right with me right now. But she wrote an article talking about how age of consent laws were just SJW histrionics. Yeah, that's right. She's perfectly cool with kids as young as like 13, 12, 11, having sex with adults. Is there any surprise this woman was friends with Milo as well? Like, I don't know, man. It's just that whenever I look into this shit, there's like the surface level lolsy stuff that happens on the top of it where people do slightly shitty things but aren't really that big of a deal. And then you go to the seedy underbelly, and it always leads down to pedophilia. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with the commentary community where it's so cursed, but here we are. 2020, everybody. And this isn't even a 2020 thing. This has been going on for years. I don't know. Like, it's going to happen one day where there's going to be like a big FBI raid and everyone who's fucking involved with this is going to be like questioned by an officer. It might just be at that level. I don't know. But anyway, I think that the stream has gone long enough. And Hef adds, okay, we'll read this at least a few more comments though. Hef says, if by mental help you mean a bullet in the head, then yeah. I understand your sentiment, and yeah, I don't blame you for having that sentiment at all. I certainly wouldn't feel bad if Digibro got a bullet in the head. Ralph sticks up for Digi 2, I'm pretty sure. Yup, he has been. I know his wife was on the kill stream a month-ish ago. Yeah. Ralph lied to my boyfriend about not having any issues with me, and I still find that absolutely hilarious. Don't know who your boyfriend is for certain, but if you are, I believe, what was that chick's name? Is your boyfriend, AP? God Spectre in chat says, we Kiwis like Dax Herrera, though. That's why we don't shit on him. Johnny is still a Chad. Of course, yeah, of course the Kiwis would. I don't even know if the Kiwis like Dax anymore at this point. Noel kind of gave the order to go after, to shit on various people, so. Oh, okay, so your boyfriend is AP. Okay, that's what I figured. Gotcha. Master Doctron 7 says, off-topic question, but there's a point. What's your opinion about Australia banning certain manga, like No Game, No Life? I don't know. I don't know the details of that. I don't know much about it. If it's like some weird child sex, if it's some weird degenerate pedo-ish kind of fantasy material, yeah, ban it. Go ahead. I don't really have that big of a deal with, there's a lot of shit that Australia does with their censorship that goes overboard, but when it comes to lolly stuff, no. Get rid of it. Ban it. I am all in favor of that. That's fine by me. The anime lawyer is defending Lolly tonight with Ty. Swell guy, everybody. Swell guy, that Nick Rekieta. Is he doing that right now? It's not just NGNL, also Sword are online and Goblin Slayer. Okay, I'd have to look more into it. I don't know what the deal with that is then. I hate Australia banning manga, but there's nothing we can do about it. They're their own country. No, I think Australians could advocate for less censorship laws because some of it does get ridiculous. Some people are saying to snipe the stream. Yeah, okay, may as well. Let's see what's up with that. Nick Rekieta. Go to his channel.
Petroleum jelly firing agent that was triggered by the electric current.
Yeah, and it avoided blowback. So the net result was you could have a ridiculous rate of fire with no recoil.
Freedom Friday with
because
Ty.
it would fire all the. I mean, you know, instead
California
of firing
mag ban,
one bullet recoil,
Lolly,
one bullet
revenge
recoil,
porn
the
musings,
whole
and other
damn thing would
topics.
come down the barrel
Before
And
it
was just
recoiled at all.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was insane. But I don't know. You know, it was an Australian company, and they kind of they fizzled out. But yeah, but no, the electromagnetic guns, those are going to be the standard firearms at some point because they're just too. They're too. You avoid having to have propellant, right? And so now I can
This is
carry
kind of
just
boring.
bullets
Where's the Lolly shit?
Have you seen
instead of cartridges.
Have you
And
seen the
that's a
the microwave riot control?
By the
gun?
way, little X-File for you guys.
No, I've heard
since
something
this is
about it.
kind of boring
though.
right now.
It's like
a
DSS satellite. Dish.
Whenever you get a chance, look at Nick Rekieta's live viewers, right?
No damage at all.
Also, pay attention to his chat. This stream supposedly has 2,025 viewers, right?
Yeah.
You follow me? Over here in the chat, let's go to live chat. Maybe they're posting a bunch of edgy shit. Going by rather slow. It's not that fast.
What they would do is
So the X-File is, I don't think Nick Rekieta is as big a deal as he makes himself out to be. How hard would it be for him to take a little bit of money from Ty on the side, take that money, fund it into botting, and inflate his numbers up artificially? Little bit of a conspiracy theory, a little bit of tinfoil and X-File. Don't take this as fact. It's not speculation, but I think that
This is many years ago.
I think there's a little bit of a kernel of truth to that. Just a hunch.
Actual Kevlar body armor and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw. I don't know where I saw it. Military test. Some poor schmo is sitting out there with the body armor on, and some soldier
go
walks
back a
up
bit.
with a rifle and
Back
goes,
by 20 minutes.
care flighted
or
him
30
to
minutes.
Tyler, and he died here in Smith County. They wound up trying these guys. $1 book, believe it or not. And in 1995, that was an expensive book.
What is the hot
That,
take tonight?
You know, anyone born in this country, regardless of whether their parents are citizens, is a citizen.
Okay, let's refresh
They've
this.
Okay, I gotta get back to Sakaki Onsai's question. I said his intro, but I never said his.
Oh yeah, we got distracted. Yeah.
He says, "My question: if a governor puts on travel restrictions on its people,
God Spectre says
can
you're
we
just
sue
jealous,
via
Johnny. You
interstate
wish you could
commerce?"
get us to buy your views.
Yeah, sure.
If any faggot decides
you
to
can
bot
sue
my
under
channel
all
for
these
any reason,
theories.
he can
The
go fuck
question
himself.
is,
I'm not interested in the
will
numbers.
your lawsuit see the light of day before it's mooted by
Right.
the end of the restrictions? And that's actually a question. We have no idea how long these restrictions are going to last. Although I think sometime around November we'll see them start
Ty,
lifting
very
heavily.
unfortunate position there.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, you know, as you know, I do a fair amount of merger and acquisition stuff, and we're
T-Clips
talking about that right now
asks,
with food companies. That,
Did you grow up in a cult?
Wait a minute.
No,
Ty,
no, I did not.
You do other things than just the Vic case?
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
that was literally
Believe it or not.
the only case you've ever done, the only legal thing you've ever done as well.
No one ever made that claim.
It's amazing. I waited 24 years for Vic to show up.
Okay, let me see here.
And,
Look at the chat's more interesting
Yeah,
tonight
I-
than
yeah,
whatever these two
that's,
chuckleheads are saying. So I'm gonna mute them for a bit. Let's see. English Shinami says, I can tell you a politician tried to get all anime banned earlier this year, but it failed. So another one dedicated to go after 7 books in particular also caused Amazon to get rid of them. That is interesting. That might explain a few things that Amazon's been up to. Let's see. I tried listening, but Rekieta is talking about everything else. Yeah, it seems like it. Maybe he's waiting for that like sweet 1 hour mark or whatever. He sometimes does that, or maybe it's a 2-hour mark. Let's see. Not mentioned lolly shit yet. Nope, doesn't seem like it. Infallible Fowl asks, what's wrong with being in a cult? I can think of a number of reasons, but to each their own. Let's see. Dagoth says, Christ, this is boring. No, nah, it's boring. Yeah, that's what Nick Ricada's show usually is. Let's see. Anyone got a timestamp about the lolly question? LOL. Yeah, if someone's got a timestamp on that, like how far I have to go back to hear their hot takes on this, go ahead, post in chat. See. JMK has a massive hate boner for Nick. He can't do anything right. That's my fatal flaw, I guess. Mr. Motorboat asks, what is this? Well, I was going over how the Gunt, aka Ethan Ralph, is a piece of shit. You can go back early in the stream to hear that. We've kind of moved on to like some Nick shit and some Lolly shit. Apparently, I was told that they're going to be talking about Lolly, but I don't think we're hearing it tonight. Nick seems really bitchy tonight. Is he all right? I don't know. Nick seems to have 2 modes. He seems to have his hyper, like, or 3 modes, I should say. He has a spurgy, ranty mode where he goes, like, into these long, screeching rants talking about conspiracy theories, like how Monica Rial tried to get Vic to kill himself. He does, actually, let me show you an example of that. Give me a moment. Because someone sent this to me. It's very interesting. Give me a quick second. Okay, I also got something else to show after I show that. Give me a quick minute. All right. Let's see. You ever want to hear Nick Ricada in ranty spurgy mode? Here's a little example of that, one that Nick doesn't like talking about.
On a little secret, because you are my Twitch thought, friends, and I love you. I was trying to get Vic on the show today. All I want on Earth is for Vic to come on my show and tell these fucking harlots to die in a fucking friendly fire. That's all I want. All I want. He won't do it. He won't do it. What does it take? You know what he listens to over me? He listens to fucking cunts who hate him. Vic couldn't cut it as a cop because he wouldn't shoot black people, let's be real.
Lol. Yeah, that's Nick in drunk spurgy mode. I know there's one of these clips he calls Vic a pussy outright. Apparently it wasn't that one. But also I'm getting word that apparently Dick Masterson has allegedly said that he jerks it to Lolly. See if I can find that. Fortunately, I was not sent the link. Lies. Hopefully, there won't be anything unshowable for YouTube standards on here. Ah, here we go. What the hell is this shit? I will beat it off to Lolly live on August 23rd with all these different people. They're so important. What the fuck, Dick? Oh, man. What the fuck is this shit? Is this the damage control that Vic wants to, that Dick Masterson wants to do? Is this a big distraction? I don't know what's going through Dick's head. Like, it makes no sense. one of your right hand men went ahead and fucked himself in a really bad way, and your damage control for this is to go ahead and defend lolicon and pedophilia? Can someone point out the logic to me? I'm legit confused as to, are they all drunk? Hef says it's an attempt at edgy humor. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe he's being edgy, but like, it's a bad look when you're actually defending child porn or lolicon. I think that, like, this is the fucking LA mentality, man. I've always told you this fucking bullshit. All right, I'm gonna look back into Dick Masterson. I'm sorry, not Dick Masterson's. Nick Arcada's stream real quick. Just give me a second. I also got something I need to check. Okay. See, is he talking about the lolly question?
Was about Sergeant York, and
oh yeah, he was a badass.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there. I'm like, I've seen this movie. What movie was it? And I couldn't think of what it was. And then you mentioned war movies. I'm like, Ty'll know exactly who I'm talking about and what it is. So
Sad but true. Yeah, Sergeant Gary Cooper.
Yeah, I remember when they never understand this, and hopefully you don't. But this is for Clay. Hey, Clay.
What is he even doing?
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay, I'm done. I'm done looking at this shit. No. Oh God, no. I'll give him props. That was a pretty ballsy joke, but still, ugh, gross. Ugh. All right, I'll have to go over this later. If Nick said some retarded shit about lolicon or revenge porn, I'll go ahead and cover that in my next stream. But this is way too boring to talk about every single dad issue under the sun, and it's just making me want to fall asleep. And I think it's putting the rest of you to sleep as well. T-Clip says switch to dark mode. I'll consider it for the next stream. Not sure yet. Also, have comments on the Dick Masterson shit. That is damage control purely for the massive amount of hate he's getting right now for the lolly shit. Yeah, I can see that for sure. But yeah. Okay. All right, I think that wraps things up a bit. And I think I mean that for the last time. Again, reminders. Ralph is exploiting a vulnerable young woman who's mentally unwell. She just turned 18, and he's using her for, in order to, like, show how much of a Chad he is, how he can get pussy when really this woman is just nothing to look at all in any sense. And she's damaged goods with plenty of emotional daddy issues. Does it really surprise anyone that she was raped? Yeah, that doesn't surprise me the least. Like, I could tell that without even seeing her admitting to that. Dick Masterson is a degenerate who'll defend hardcore lolicon. Digibro is a faggot. And who else did I mention on stream? Oh yeah, Gator is a piece of shit, and he's going to cause Ralph to kill himself. Oh, and I guess the last person. Oh yeah, Andy Worski. I don't know what you're doing these days. I know you're like buddy tied to the hip with Ralph. You feel married to him or whatever. Apparently, those rumors that Coach Red Pill started that I thought were bullshit, that you two were fucking, were false. But apparently you guys are going like joking about it now. Like, yeah, that's a thing that happened. I don't know if that's the case or not, but either way, why the fuck are you going ahead and pulling a gator on Ralph? Seriously, just stop. All right. That covers everything. I hope you found the stream entertaining. I hope you found it enlightening a little bit. Raping kids isn't cool. Lolicon isn't cool. And preying on 18-year-old girls when you're 35 also isn't cool. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Peace out.